Exposed. Millionaire's incredible secrets to find his mother, clearing the path for his son. On a chilly October morning, Nathan Carter, a self-made millionaire from the outskirts of Chicago, felt the ping of his heart echo in his chest. He held a letter marked with an emblem from a nursing home. He thought he'd never hear from one that might lead him to a mother he'd lost long ago. The scent of freshly fallen leaves mixed with the bittersweet ache of abandonment. Each word he read felt alive, awakening a buried hope, yet it brought forth the shadows of guilt that loomed over him like storm clouds. His childhood had been a constant battle against poverty, with his mother often slipping deeper into despair. He remembered those nights. His stomach twisted in hunger as he listened to her fight against demons he could never comprehend. Each missed birthday and school event carved scars into his heart, making him fiercely protective of his own son, Kyle. But here he was, a millionaire. The neighborhood viewed him as the quintessential success story, the American dream personified. Yet, beneath that polished surface lay truths hidden in shame. When Nathan shared his news of potentially finding his mother, Kyle's eyes darkened with confusion. "Dad, can't you just be here for me?" The boy's voice cracked, a plea for attention that Nathan could feel gripping at his heart. They were at a community event when the tension piqued neighbors all around him, expecting him to don the mask of a wealthy hero. In that moment, his facade shattered like glass. He stood up, heart racing like a wild stallion. "Family matters more than wealth," he declared, only to be met with mixed reactions. Some applauded, while others exchanged whispers about how one can lose touch among riches. A knot twisted in Nathan's throat as he realized that, successful or not, his past followed him like a shadow. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. After the event, Nathan stood frozen, wrestling with his crippling insecurities. Then the phone rang. A chance to meet the woman who was a ghost in his memory. But just as he was about to leave, Kyle's tiny hand gripped his arm. "Don't go." The desperation in his eyes made Nathan's heart stall. In that moment, all the hurt and hope collided. Before him lay the chance to uncover his past, or the chance to be the father he desperately wanted to be. He felt torn, like a man standing between two worlds, running the race of his life, but bound by a heart that ached for connection. As he met Kyle's gaze, caught between discovery and loyalty, Nathan knew he stood on the edge of a choice that could either heal him or fracture the bond with the only family he had left. And as the weight of that choice pressed down, the air shimmered with uncertainty, leaving him reflecting. What if the secrets of the past could finally free him, yet may shatter the legacy he had worked so hard to build? Nathan felt the tension in the air thicken, the weight of his decision pressing on his chest like a stone. He glanced down at Kyle, his son, and the turmoil in that young face sent waves of guilt crashing over him. "Dad, please. I need you here. Now." The boy's voice trembled with an emotion that cut deeper than any criticism. Nathan's resolve began to falter. I don't know," Nathan stuttered, struggling to find the right words. The promise of connecting with his long-lost mother was overshadowed by the reality of what his boy was feeling. His mind spun with thoughts of a woman he barely remembered and a chance at reconciliation that might just come at a crippling cost. The nursing home would still be there, he reasoned. This might be one opportunity, a fleeting whisper of hope that had already started to unravel in the face of his son's need. "Okay, Kyle," he finally said, kneeling to look him directly in the eye. "I'll stay. I want to go." Relief washed over his son's features as Nathan felt the drawstring of a new form of purpose tightening within him. He was not just a millionaire. He was a father first, and he would do better. He would not lose his son to shadows of the past. But as he made his decision, a nagging sensation crept into his mind. What if staying meant losing the chance to heal those old wounds? What if uncovering his mother's truth might bring the insights he longed for? Insights that could allow him to embrace both parts of his life. Later that evening, both Nathan and Kyle sat on the couch, empty pizza boxes scattered around them. The whir of the television flooded the room, but neither of them seemed to register what was playing. Nathan glanced at Kyle, who was focused on his game, cheeks puffed from concentration. There was an innocence about him, a brightness that filled Nathan with warmth but also an ache of protectiveness. He reached out and ruffled Kyle's hair. You know I'd never choose anything over you, right? Kyle finally turned his gaze from the screen. I know, Dad. Good, Nathan smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. How could he truly know what loyalty meant when he was still grappling with the shadows of yesterday? The phone rang again, this time with a message from the nursing home asking for a confirmation on the visit. He hesitated, the idea of answering both terrifying and thrilling. His hand hovered over the phone, wrestling with the desire to retrieve the truth, to face what he left behind. As he tapped on the screen, it trembled in his hand. Would he feel closure? Or would he unearth memories best left buried? The thought of facing his mother, of confronting the emotions of abandonment, loomed like thunder in the distance. Just then Kyle shattered the silence. Can we go to the park tomorrow? The question pulled him from his spiraling thoughts, prompting a flicker of light amidst the dark. Sure, buddy. Sounds like fun. As the day faded, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that fate was conspiring against him. Could one choice truly unravel both his past and the future he wished for Kyle? And in that moment of stillness, as he cradled the phone in his palm, Nathan pondered his next steps. He was at a crossroads, the clock ticking. What if the next call brought revelations that blurred the lines between family and fortune? What if the truth held more power than he could ever anticipate? With each breath, he felt that familiar trembling promise of change, as he braced himself for the possible storm ahead. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window, warming Nathan's face. He woke up feeling the weight of his decision still pressing on his chest. Kyle was already up, dressed, and sitting at the table, legs swinging excitedly as he stuffed a piece of toast into his mouth. Are you ready to go? Kyle asked between bites, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. Almost, buddy. Just give me a second. Nathan took a deep breath, trying to summon the energy for the day ahead. The park felt like a small oasis, a world away from the turmoil he had left unresolved. As he got dressed, he glanced at the phone on the counter. The missed call from the nursing home taunted him, weaving a fabric of anxiety in his gut. But he pushed those thoughts aside, determined to focus on Kyle. They arrived at the park. The fresh smell of grass combined with laughter and shouts of children playing filled the air. Kyle raced ahead, his laughter echoing back to Nathan as he chased after a flock of geese. There was something magical in the way Kyle could turn an ordinary moment into pure joy. Dad! Look! They're flying! Kyle pointed at a group of birds soaring above. Yeah, they are. So free, Nathan replied, feeling a twinge of envy. He had felt that sense of freedom once, before life bound him with worry. As they moved to the playground, Nathan watched Kyle swing back and forth, his little legs pumping energetically. He couldn't help but smile. But with each joyful cry from his son, a shadow loomed in his mind, reminding him of the phone call he still avoided. Why do you want to come here, Dad? Kyle called out, breaking Nathan's reverie. Nathan smiled, momentarily shaken from his dark thoughts. To see you happy, bud. That's all I want. Can we go on the big slide next? Of course, Nathan said, feeling lighter. As they climbed the steps to the slide together, Nathan's heart raced with each step. Just then Kyle pointed behind him. Hey, look at that kid. He has a kite. Nathan glanced back and saw a young boy, squealing with delight, as he maneuvered a vibrant kite dancing in the blue sky. It flew higher and higher, its colors painting a joyous picture against the clouds. What do you think, Kyle? Want to do that someday? Nathan asked with a chuckle, thinking of how they could create memories like that together. Yeah, that would be awesome, Kyle replied, grinning widely. For a fleeting moment, everything felt right. The weight on Nathan's heart lifted, replaced by the carefree spirit of the park. And yet, as they slid down together, the rush of adrenaline did little to drown out the steady hum of doubt growing louder inside him. They soon settled on a blanket for a picnic. As they munched on sandwiches, Kyle's chatter filled the air like music. Dad, this is the best day ever. Nathan's heart swelled with pride and worry, the two emotions woven into one. The buzz of laughter faded in the background, and in that silent space, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that his peace would be temporary. Hey Kyle, he started cautiously, what would you think if I took a trip later this week? Just for a day or two. Kyle's expression shifted, confusion mingling with concern. A trip? But I wanted to spend time with you. I know, but as Nathan struggled to find his words, Kyle's small voice interrupted him. You want to come back, will you? The question hung heavily in the air as Nathan's heart sank. He looked into his son's wide, searching eyes and realized he could no longer avoid his past, nor could he indulge in just a moment of happiness without anchoring it to the future. Let us finish here first, he said softly, taking a deep breath. Then we'll figure this out together. But inside, Nathan felt the storm brewing once again. Could he truly make the right choices for both himself and Kyle? Little did he know, the looming decision would soon spiral into a whirlwind that would change everything. Nathan watched as Kyle's face clouded over, the sparkle in his eyes dimming under the weight of worry. It tore at his heart to see his son wrestling with emotions he shouldn't have to bear. He reached out, ruffling Kyle's messy hair. Hey, how about we forget the trip talk for a bit? Let us just enjoy today. Okay, Kyle mumbled, his eyes still cast down. He took another bite of his sandwich, chewing slowly. Nathan felt the silence stretch awkwardly between them as he fought against the questions swarming in his mind. What if your mom needed me? Nathan uttered, almost to himself. Kyle looked up at him, confusion etched on his young face. You mean Grandma? Yeah. You know she has been having a tough time. I think she might need support, Nathan explained, struggling to find the right words without overwhelming his son. Kyle nodded slowly, trying to digest the information. I guess I'd like her to be okay, Kyle said softly, a hint of understanding blooming in his expression. But I don't want you to go for a long time, Dad. I want tea, buddy, I promise, Nathan replied, a mix of determination and longing crossing his features. He picked up a juice box and pointed at it playfully. You think this raccoon needs some juice after his big adventure? Kyle laughed, the sound like music that broke through the tension. Yeah, he needs to be strong. With a shared laugh, Nathan felt a surge of hope fighting against the storm inside him. They finished lunch, tossing crumbs to the birds circling around, and Kyle's laughter echoed around the park once more, chasing away Nathan's lingering shadows. Let us go to the lake, Kyle suggested, excitement flooding back into his voice. Great idea. How about we find some rocks to skip? Nathan responded, his heart aching with a mix of enjoyment and the underlying current of worry. As they approached the water, the late afternoon sun glistened off the surface like a shimmering blanket. Kyle darted ahead, slipping off his shoes and splashing along the edge. Nathan marveled at his son's ability to find joy in simple things. How innocent the world felt through Kyle's eyes. Kyle, look, Nathan called out, bending down to pick up a flat rock. He tossed it across the water, watching it skip once, twice before disappearing. Can I try? Nathan handed him a stone. Kyle concentrated as he wound up, his little arm swinging forward with all the determination of a champion. The rock hit the water, splashed once, then sank. Almost. Try again, Nathan encouraged, his smile growing wider with each attempt. But as Kyle's laugh rang out, Nathan felt the familiar weight press heavily on his chest. This was the life he wanted, the uncomplicated joy of fatherhood, the playful moments that stitched together their days. Just as Kyle picked up another stone, Nathan's phone buzzed in his pocket, vibrating against his leg like an unwelcomed reminder. He hesitated, torn between the impending reality waiting on the other side of that call, and the precious time slipping away in front of him. Hey Kyle, let us take a quick break, he said, trying to sound cheerful. He knelt by the water, hoping the coolness could soothe his racing thoughts. What's wrong? Kyle asked, instinctively sensing something amiss in the air. It's nothing really, he said, waving it off. Just thinking about choices. Kyle plopped down beside him, his small hand brushing against Nathan's. You'll make the right choice, Dad. You always do. The strength in Kyle's words stunned Nathan. His heart swelled, a mix of love and worry washing over him. What if he failed? What if choosing his mother meant losing time with his son? The moment hung, pregnant with possibilities, thick and alive. Nathan could see a glimpse of a life split in two, a road diverging into uncertain futures. Dad? Kyle's voice broke the silence, pulling him back. Yeah. What are we doing today after we leave the park? Nathan smiled, feeling the pull of camaraderie in his son's inquiry. How about we make a kite when we get home? I'll show you how to fly it just like the boy earlier. Really? That sounds amazing. Yet even as Kyle beamed, Nathan wrestled with the quickening pulse of dread in his heart. The storm was getting closer, and he knew that soon he would have to face it. As they stood to leave the park, he caught sight of a family huddled together nearby, intertwined and filled with laughter. Nathan felt a pang of longing. Was he prepared to shatter the bubble of happiness he had so desperately created with Kyle? Just then his phone buzzed again, urgent and insistent. Nathan's heart dropped. Hey Kyle, wait here a second. I just need to check something, he said, stepping away. As he read the message, his breath caught. He hadn't anticipated this. Would this be the call that changed everything? That would force him to make the choice he was dreading. As he turned back towards Kyle, the message lingering like a question in the air, he wondered if he could truly carry the weight of this decision alone. His son was counting on him, but in that moment, Nathan felt more lost than ever. Was it too late to turn back? At that moment, Nathan sensed the horizon shifting, the air around him charged with unrecognized possibilities. Something monumental was brewing just beyond reach. Nathan read the message again, heart racing. Come home. It was from his sister. The abruptness of it sent him spiraling. He looked at Kyle, who was still at the water's edge, tossing stones without a care in the world. Could he really just walk away from this joy to dive into whatever turmoil awaited him? Dad! Kyle's voice pulled him from his thoughts, demanding his attention. Did you see how far that one went? He pointed at the last rock he had thrown, thrilled by its splashes. Yeah, that was an awesome throw. Nathan couldn't help but smile, but the energy didn't quite reach his eyes. He felt the tension knot in his stomach. Can I throw another? Kyle asked, eager. Just one more. Nathan's voice trailed off as he watched Kyle lift another stone. Determination etched across his little face. This was the very essence of childhood. Uninhibited joy, playfulness, and a simplicity Nathan desperately needed right now. As Kyle launched the stone into the water, Nathan felt that heavy tug of responsibility pulling at him again. Each wave that lapped against the shore felt like it was carrying whispers of the past, the story of his mother's struggles, the weight of family ties that could not be severed. Hey buddy, let us get going. He beckoned Kyle with a hand, forcing a smile, attempting to shake off the foreboding abyss dwelling in his heart. Okay, but can we make the kite before dinner? Kyle danced slightly, enthusiasm bubbling over. Definitely, Nathan said, hoping he sounded more confident than he felt. As they began their walk back toward the parking lot, Kyle skipped ahead, the way children often do, unburdened and free. Dad? Kyle paused, glancing back. Are we going to talk about Grandma? His voice was small yet resolute. It broke Nathan's heart to realize how much his son picked up on the tension surrounding them. Yeah, we can talk. Just not right now, okay? Nathan wanted to shield Kyle from what he faced, at least for a little longer. He wanted him to enjoy the remaining sunlight, the laughter of children echoing through the park. Reluctantly, Nathan pulled out his phone again, contemplating a call to his sister, but hesitated. What would he say? I'll be right there? Did he really want to open this door, knowing it could bring chaos after the peaceful oasis they had just shared? Dad, are you coming? Kyle's insistence pulled him back to reality. Keep your eyes on the path, Kyle. I'm right here, Nathan replied. But his mind was still submerged in a whirlpool of emotions. How could he explain the complexities tangled in family dynamics to a child who still believed in light-hearted magic? The drive home seemed much longer than normal. Sunlight streamed through the car windows, illuminating Kyle's face as he built tiny imaginary worlds with each word. Nathan wanted to be there for him, but inside, he braced for inevitable clashes of duty and desire. After arriving home, they entered the house and Nathan led Kyle through their routine without missing a beat. He set up the kite-making supplies on the dining table, eager to embrace the small normalcy they could carve out together. As they constructed the frame, they giggled with every misstep, untangled string, unintended bends in the frame, moments that felt sanctuary-like. Yet, as they tied the final knot, Nathan's phone buzzed again. He hesitated but couldn't ignore it. He glanced down and dread washed over him. Another message from his sister. They need you, this might be your last chance. Kyle's voice cut through the thickening tension. Dad, is everything okay? Nathan looked at his son, uncertainty swirling like storm clouds in his heart. He wanted to say yes, to promise that it would be okay, but all he could manage was a nod. His thoughts raced with all the weight of consequences pressing on him. In that moment, life felt fractured, caught between desperate choices that would shape both their futures. Could he really face the fragile threads holding him and his family together? The shadows from earlier returned, creeping back into his thoughts, and Nathan knew they were edging closer to a decision he couldn't escape. As he grappled with the weight of his choices, Kyle finished the kite, eyes dancing with excitement. Nathan's heart clenched. Would he have to change everything soon? Was he willing to risk losing these bright moments with his son for the daunting unknown ahead? "Dad?" Kyle called again, looking up expectantly. "Are you ready to fly the kite?" Nathan took a deep breath, the lingering possibility of change heavy in the air. Could their fleeting happiness survive whatever was coming? As they stepped outside, tensions crackling, Nathan asked himself the question that had haunted him all day. Zachary or clarity, what would you choose? With a gust of wind swirling around them, he felt the weight of the world on his shoulders pressing harder than ever. Would it lift? Or would he be left chasing after dreams that could dissolve like the sunset? Nathan stood in the yard, staring at the kite now fluttering restlessly against the blue sky. It felt like the entire world was holding its breath. Kyle tugged at his sleeve, excitement radiating off him in waves, ready to take that first flight into the sky. But Nathan's heart wasn't in it. "Just hold on a second, buddy," Nathan said, lifting the kite off the ground. He glanced at the horizon, where the sun began its slow descent, casting golden hues on everything. It felt like a scene from a movie. Beautiful, yet he was so painfully aware that beneath this surface, everything was about to change. "Can we fly it now?" Kyle's voice chirped, breaking through Nathan's reverie. "Okay, let us do it," Nathan said, forcing a smile as he ran to the open space, Kyle by his side. He felt a desperate need to make this moment count, to hold on to the giddiness swirling in Kyle's eyes as he helped the child grasp the kite's string. Nathan released it, and with a powerful gust, the kite soared upward, dancing in the air as if it were trying to escape. Kyle cheered, laughter spilling from his lips, rich and full. That sound was a melody Nathan had missed in his chaotic thoughts. "Look, Dad. It's flying." Kyle jumped up and down, pointing with glee. Nathan's heart swelled with pride, yet the knot in his stomach tightened. He was caught in a fierce pull between the present joy and looming responsibilities, like a rope caught in a tug of war. "Yeah, great job, buddy." Nathan's voice was brighter than he felt. Each tug of the string sent a flurry of hope and fear coursing through him. He wanted to embrace this moment, capture it in his memory. Yet, there was a shadow at the edge of his thoughts, the message, his mother's health, the unraveling threads of worry that he could no longer ignore. "Are you okay, Dad?" Kyle asked, pausing the action, concern shadowing his innocent face. Nathan crouched down, meeting his son's gaze. "Yeah, just thinking a lot. You know how grown-ups get." He tried to keep his voice steady, but the weight of whatever awaited him at home hit him with another wave of anxiety. "Do you think Grandma wants to see me?" Kyle's question pierced the air, laced with a childlike innocence. It sent another pang through Nathan. How could he explain the tangled web of family dynamics to a child? "Of course she does, buddy. She'd love to see you." The words felt hollow, but he hoped Kyle could sense the truth behind them. The love layered in his voice. Kyle beamed again, and Nathan felt a rush of determination. For Kyle, he would try to mend the old wounds threatening to fracture their family. The kite dipped and swayed in the warming breeze, and Nathan encouraged Kyle to run, letting the string slip through his fingers, allowing the kite to sail freely into the darkening sky. It was a fleeting moment of happiness, air filled with laughter, yet Nathan could almost hear the clock ticking down on their time together. As the kite reached its peak, the buzzing of Nathan's phone interrupted the bliss. He cursed softly under his breath, wishing desperately to silence the disruption, but he had to know. He pulled it from his pocket, heart pounding, and saw another message from his sister. "It's now or never, Nathan. We can't wait anymore." In that instant, the world around him dimmed slightly. The vibrant yellows and blues of the evening seemed to fade as a wave of dread crashed over him. Kyle tugged at the string, oblivious to his father's internal battle, and for a moment, Nathan felt torn between the laughter echoing around him and the dilemma pulling him away. "Dad?" Kyle's voice broke through his fog, soft and worried. Nathan looked at him, so full of hope, innocence radiating from his small frame. He took a deep breath, knowing there was no escaping the truth. Whatever was coming next wouldn't just affect him, it would ripple through Kyle's life, shaping what lay ahead. With the kite soaring above, Nathan made a decision. "All right, Kyle," he said, determination filling his tone. "Let us make this count. One more full flight, then we'll talk. Promise." As they ran together, heart racing, Nathan wondered if he could face the storm waiting for him at home. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in dusky twilight, he made another silent promise, to hold on to this moment just a little longer, before diving headfirst into the chaos. But deep down, uncertainty lingered. An undeniable force awaited him. Would he have the strength to uncover what was hidden? And could his family withstand the truth? With that thought anchoring him, he watched as Kyle laughed, sending the kite higher with each joyous shout. And he couldn't help but wonder, was he ready for the revelations that were about to come? The kite danced in the fading light, a vibrant celebration of freedom. Each tug on the string felt alive, pulling Nathan momentarily away from his anxious thoughts. Kyle's laughter was a welcome reprieve, wrapping around Nathan like a warm hug in the cooling evening air. This was the moment he needed, one where joy overshadowed his worries, if only for a little while longer. "Look at it go, Dad," Kyle shouted, eyes bright and fearless. The kite soared higher, seemingly brushing the edge of the clouds. It was hard not to smile at Kyle's exuberance, but the weight inside Nathan just grew heavier. He had to talk to his son about his mother. The time for evasion was running out. "Yeah, it's beautiful," Nathan replied, forcing his voice to match his son's excitement. "Just like you." However, the truth behind that cheerful surface gnawed at him. A hurricane of emotions swirled: fear, dread, even guilt. What if he failed to prepare Kyle for what lay ahead? What if his mother's health deteriorated faster than he anticipated? Each moment lost to the present felt like sand slipping through his fingers. He took a deep breath and imagined how the conversation could go. Kyle was only 7, a tender age marked by innocence. Would he understand the complex truth of their family? Would he grasp the fragility of life? "Dad." Kyle's voice pierced his thoughts. "Can we run it all the way to the fence?" "Sure," Nathan replied, his heart lifting a little under the spark of Kyle's enthusiasm. They sprinted towards the backyard fence, Kyle's giggles echoing. Nathan felt the rush of wind against his face, refreshing and sharp, sweeping away some of the uneasiness. "Just keep the string tight," Nathan shouted, watching as Kyle pulled the kite along the yard, his little legs moving with purpose. For every step Kyle took, it felt like Nathan took one towards the heart of his dilemma. "Will we go see Grandma soon?" Kyle's voice brought him back to the weight of reality. "Yeah, soon," Nathan said, not ready to admit the truth but unable to dodge the question forever. Holding on to the moment, he felt the tug of the inevitable surge back. As they reached the fence, Kyle turned, eyes wide with wonder. "Can we fly it even higher, Dad?" Nathan smiled, though tension twisted within him. He knelt down, meeting Kyle's gaze. "You know what? Let us send it up one last time together." Nathan steadied the string while Kyle held tight. Together they let out a small cheer, releasing all their worries into the cool evening air. As the kite climbed, so did the weight on Nathan's heart. Then, without warning, the phone buzzed in his pocket again. The sound jolted him, pulling him from their moment. He glanced down, his stomach sinking as he saw another message from his sister. This one felt different, more urgent. "Why aren't you answering? I need you to be here. Mom can't hold on much longer." Nathan's heart raced and dread washed over him. He had promised Kyle a light-hearted day, yet the shadows loomed ever closer. He could hear Kyle laughing, but the echo was faint, muffled under the weight of reality. "Dad?" Kyle's small voice broke the emotional storm brewing inside. "Yeah, buddy," Nathan replied, forcing a smile he hoped would reach his eyes. "What's wrong?" Kyle's forehead furrowed, worry suddenly creeping into his expression. Nathan hesitated, heart pounding. He had shielded his son long enough. It was time for honesty, but where would he even begin? Taking a deep breath, he decided to try. "Kyle, I think we should talk about Grandma. About how she's feeling." Kyle's face fell, understanding slowly creeping into his eyes. Nathan felt like he was holding an open flame, Caught between wanting to protect his son and delivering a truth that would surely hurt, as Nathan spoke. The words tumbled out, knotting in his throat. He searched for the right ones, hope wrapped in sorrow, truths draped in affection. He had to tread carefully. But he knew that conversations like this could open doors to so much more. Would his family truly heal from past wounds? Could they navigate the turbulent waters ahead? Kyle listened, wide-eyed and silent, a storm of emotions brewing behind his innocent gaze. And as Nathan laid it all out, he couldn't shake the gnawing fear that what followed could change everything. If only he could be sure that love would be enough to carry them through the chaos. With the sun dipping below the horizon, Nathan felt the breeze shift, whispering secrets of the challenges yet to come. Would they come together as a family, or would they unravel? The moment hung in the air, full of potential and uncertainty, ready for the next chapter to unfold. Nathan's words floated in the air, heavy and raw. He watched his son Kyle trying to process the truth of what he just shared. This was the moment he had dreaded most, the moment that would shatter the delicate world Kyle had known. "Grandma is really sick?" Kyle finally squeaked, his voice trembling, the joy fading from his eyes. Nathan nodded. The knot in his throat tightened, a feeling of helplessness creeping over him. "Yeah, buddy. She's in the hospital. We're going to visit her soon." Kyle looked up at the sky, where the last rays of sun mixed with darkening clouds. "Is she going to be okay?" Memories of childhood visits flooded Nathan's mind, the way his mother's laughter had filled the rooms, the cookies always baked fresh, the stories that painted their lives in vibrant colors. He wished he could promise that everything would turn out all right, but the truth was still too raw for his heart to express. "We're going to hope for the best, Kyle," he finally said, squeezing his son's small hand. "Hope?" Kyle echoed, eyes wide, searching Nathan's face for assurance. "Yeah," Nathan said, struggling to hold back tears. "Hope is powerful. It brings us together, and we can be strong for each other." Silence hung in the air as the evening deepened. Nathan felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, yet he didn't want to crush Kyle's spirit. "Can we still fly the kite?" Kyle asked quietly, his earlier enthusiasm dimmed but not extinguished. "Of course, let us do it for Grandma," Nathan replied, swallowing hard. As they ran together again, the kite soared and dipped, twisting in the air. Kyle's laughter, though tinged with worry, began to weave a thread of light through Nathan's heavy heart. For each moment he could give Kyle joy, he felt a flicker of hope reignite within himself. "Kite flying for Grandma!" Kyle cheered, and it filled Nathan with a sense of purpose. They didn't have all the answers, but they had each other, and that counted for a whole lot. After a while the kite glided low, spiraling to the ground. Kyle ran to catch it, his laughter ringing sweet like music on a still night. Nathan tried to join in the joy, but his thoughts were still a whirlwind. What awaited them in the hospital? "Dad?" Kyle asked, tugging at his sleeve. "Will Grandma be laughing again?" The sincerity in Kyle's question hit Nathan like a wave. The world was unpredictable, and all he could do was promise to bring Kyle's spirit into every moment he could. "I hope so, but we will make her laugh." He felt a warmth swell in his chest, a determination rising. "Together?" Kyle's hopeful gaze searched his. "Always together," Nathan promised. As darkness enveloped the yard, they took a break on the grass, catching their breath. Nathan's phone buzzed again, causing his heart to stall. The screen flashed with another message from his sister, suffusing him with dread. "Can you come now? I need you." The urgency in her words felt like a knife twisting in his gut. "Dad?" Kyle's voice broke through his thoughts again. "Yes, kiddo? What time can we go see Grandma?" Nathan set his phone aside, feeling the sharp clench of anxiety. He had to answer honestly, as difficult as it was. "Soon. Hopefully soon." Kyle frowned, clearly not understanding the weight behind those words. And for a fleeting moment, Nathan wished he could just protect his son from the world's unkindness, cocoon him in the safety of illusion. But that wasn't the life they lived, and maybe honesty was their only solace. As the stars began to twinkle above, Nathan realized that it was time to gear up for what lay ahead. He would have to navigate through the emotional storm, holding on to his son and the light they created together. With the kite in his hand and his son by his side, Nathan looked up at the heavens filled with stars and whispered a silent prayer. Could hope offer them the strength to face the unknown? A decision weighed on him, a choice not yet made. As the moment stretched, he thought about the road ahead, both fearful and full of potential. He drew in a deep breath, unsure if he was ready for what came next, but feeling a flicker of determination ignite within. With Kyle looking up at him, Nathan knew he had to prepare for a confrontation that would change everything. The night was just beginning, and so were their challenges. What awaited them in the morning light? The morning light crept through the curtains, warm and inviting yet too bright for Nathan's tired eyes. He rubbed his face, trying to shake off the remnants of unease that clung to him like morning fog. The hospital visit loomed ahead, and anxiety twisted in his chest. "Dad, look at this!" Kyle exclaimed, bursting into the room. His excitement an explosion of energy. He held up a drawing, crayon colors all smeared together but vibrant nonetheless. It depicted a huge sun, a big house, and stick figures with wild, happy faces. "That's amazing, buddy," Nathan said, forcing a smile. "Is that Grandma's house?" "Yeah. And I drew us flying the kite outside." Kyle beamed, unaware of the uncertainty swirling around them. Nathan knelt to his son's level, wanting to capture this moment. "We're going to show it to her, okay? Will she see it?" Kyle asked, his enthusiasm dipping as if he could sense the tension. "Absolutely," Nathan replied, not sure about anything anymore but willing to keep that flame of hope alive for Kyle. He wanted his son to carry innocence, at least for a little longer. As they finished breakfast, the air felt thick with unspoken words. Nathan could hear the phone buzz again, his sister's name lighting up the screen. Each message felt like another weight pressed on his shoulders. Didn't he want that for Kyle? "Are you ready to go see Grandma?" Nathan asked, trying to keep his voice even. "I'm ready. I made her a card too." In that moment, Nathan's heart warmed a little. Kyle's determination to bring joy made him realize that they could still connect, no matter the circumstances. They drove to the hospital, silence wrapping around them like a heavy blanket. Nathan stole glances at Kyle, who sat in the back, focused on his card. With each passing mile, his heart raced faster, uncertainty tickling the back of his mind. "Dad?" Kyle's voice broke through. "Do you think Grandma will love the picture?" "Of course she will. You've put so much effort into it." Kyle nodded, but Nathan noticed his son's hands trembling ever so slightly. At the hospital, sterile smells mixed with the distant sounds of beeping machines. Nathan felt his stomach knot as they approached the nurse's station. Just a few more steps, and they'd be facing the reality he'd been dreading. "Are you okay?" Kyle asked, his own little face suddenly serious. Nathan crouched down beside him. "Yeah, I am. I just want to make sure we do this right." "Together," Kyle replied, echoing their mantra. "Together," Nathan affirmed, heartened by his son's resilience. As they entered the room, the soft light painted an almost surreal scene. His mother lay in bed, her face pale yet touched with warmth. The sight knocked the wind out of Nathan's chest. "Grandma!" Kyle shouted, rushing over, his card clutched tightly in his little hands. Nathan followed, an overwhelming urge to shield Kyle from the truth mingled with the resolve to be present. His mother's eyes flickered open, a hint of recognition appearing. "Hi, sweetheart," she whispered. "Look what I made for you." Kyle's pure excitement floated like a fragile bubble, delicate yet determined. "Wow, what a beautiful surprise," she replied, her voice soft and cracked but full of love. Nathan stood back, stepping onto the sidelines. He watched the light in Kyle's eyes as he presented his art, feeling the emotions swirl around him: love, sorrow, and a fierce desire to hold on to this moment forever. "Can you tell me a story, Grandma?" Kyle asked, his childhood wonder competing with the stark reality of her condition. Nathan's heart ached as he sensed the heaviness in the room. But just like the first glimmers of hope from the kite, there was still light in this darkness. As his mother smiled at Kyle, Nathan realized they were beginning to bridge that gap between joy and sadness. Would they find a way to keep this connection strong, even through the hardest of circumstances? The questions loomed heavier, but so did the bond he felt with both Kyle and his mother. "Tell me everything," his mother said, her face lighting up with genuine warmth, and suddenly, for a moment, Nathan could breathe again. But just as Nathan found a breath of hope, a knock on the door changed everything. The door creaked open, and in walked Nathan's sister, Sarah. Her arms were laden with flowers, But her face bore a storm of worry. "Nathan," she began, her voice faltering as she caught sight of Kyle. "Uncle Nathan," Kyle shouted, now jumping up and down. "Look at this. I made this picture for Grandma." For a moment, the tension that had gripped Nathan was temporarily swept aside. Sarah's face softened as she stepped into the room, the flowers momentarily forgotten. "That's beautiful, Kyle." She knelt beside him, her attention shifting fully to her nephew. In this small moment, Nathan felt a flicker of warmth like a candle fighting against the encroaching darkness. "Grandma loves it," Kyle beamed. His innocent joy held a vibrance that seemed to lighten the air around them. But Nathan's heart raced as he read the unspoken worries on Sarah's face. The urgent tone of her earlier messages echoed in his mind. They needed to talk about their mother, but in front of Kyle? How could they dim his light when he was so full of love? "Let us give Grandma some time with her flower," Sarah suggested, still kneeling beside her son. "How about you help me find a vase?" She stood, taking Kyle's small hand. Nathan watched them go, feeling the familiar pang of uncertainty settle back in. Now alone with his mother, Nathan could almost feel the walls closing in. "Hi, Mom," he said gently, crossing the distance between them. "Oh, Nathan. I wasn't sure if I'd see you." Her voice hung in the air, heavy with unsaid feelings. He hesitated, wrestling with the weight of that statement. "I got your messages and well, I came as soon as I could," he whispered, searching her gaze for the woman he remembered, the cheerful mother who danced into their home with laughter, filling it with stories and love. "Thank you," she smiled weakly, her frailty striking like a lightning bolt. "I didn't know how much time I had left." Nathan felt the choke in his throat, urgency nagging at him. "Mom, I don't want to lose you. I want to understand. We both need to understand what happened between us." Her eyes glistened as though they caught reflections of old memories, moments long tucked away. "I always loved you, Nathan. I struggled, yes. Life took me down roads I couldn't navigate. But I had you and Sarah with all my heart." Tears stung at the corners of Nathan's eyes. "Mom, how could you wear and tea there for you?" she interrupted softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "I regret it every day. All I wanted was for you to be happy." Sarah returned with Kyle, who held a small glass vase proudly. "Look what we found," he exclaimed, innocent laughter flooding the room. Nathan's heart soared at the sheer joy, and as Kyle carefully placed the flowers in the vase, his mother reached a trembling hand for him. "Sweetheart," his mother said to Kyle, "those are beautiful." "Mom," Nathan interjected, wanting to grasp every moment, "I need you to know about Kyle. He the light of my world, but I don't want him to feel the shadows like I did." His mother's eyes filled with understanding. A veil was being lifted from their shared past. "You have a wonderful son, Nathan. Promise me you'll hold on to that. And promise yourself, don't let the darkness take over." He nodded, the tears now spilling over like a floodgate bursting from long-held emotions. This was the moment they'd been tiptoeing around, yet it felt freeing, like the sky after a storm. Kyle looked back and forth between them, sensing the shift yet too young to understand. "Can we tell Grandma about our kite?" "Yes, tell her all about it," Nathan encouraged, the words gushing forth, unwinding everything that had been tangled. "We flew it higher than the trees. And Kyle drew you a big sun with a house." His mother's heart soared with each revelation. "This little guy is going to grow up to be something special," she said, her fragile spirit sparkling with fondness. As they continued to share stories, Nathan felt his heart expand, eager to bridge the gaps time had created. He realized the power of truth to face the past and slowly but surely move forward together. Even through tears, there was tethering joy. Little Kyle, the bond he created, and the overarching warmth between family that could survive amid life's tempest. Hours passed as laughter flickered, filling the small hospital room like sunlight breaking through clouds. Nathan finally felt the revelation settle in. Life wouldn't be easy, but if they embraced the light together, they could illuminate the paths that lay ahead. As the evening wore on, Nathan turned to Sarah, who wiped away silent tears of her own. "We're going to be okay," he said, recovering that sense of hope. "Together." "Together," she echoed. And with Kyle positioned between them, Nathan finally stood firm, ready to fly. He knew challenges awaited, but the shadows no longer loomed vast. No longer would he bear this burden alone. They would navigate this next chapter as a family anew, love blazing brighter, bringing healing to hidden places, the journey with all its weight now filled with clarity and purpose. And so Nathan whispered into the night, a mantra birthed anew. Hope will guide us. Wouldn't you agree? In moments of vulnerability like Nathan's, we redefine our journeys, stepping into the light for the ones we love. So join us. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, helping others find moments of joy. Comment how this ending moved you and share this instant video with at least 5 friends who also crave transformation. You need to show your support now. Don't wait not even one more second to share.